Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So I'm so excited to give you guys the labor and delivery story. Baby boy is not with me right now. He's sleeping with his dad. And I'm actually listening out because if he starts freaking out, I gotta go get him. When he hears my voice, as you guys know, as babies do, when they hear your voice, he is really not antsy, but he's not going to let me do this video. So he's going to want to eat and poop and all that stuff, and I'm not going to get to finish. So we're going to try to do this quickly before he wakes up. So, labor and delivery story. You may see my daughter running back and forth back there too. But labor and delivery story. So, it started on January 26th. I think that was Sunday. So my cousins came over and they picked up my daughter, took her out for the day, and me and hubby had just a date night that night before the baby came. And it was a very pleasant night. I'm not going to go into it because I talked about it a little bit in the labor and delivery video. So I'm not going to go back into that. But anyway, we got back home and my daughter was dropped back off. And then that night I started to feel cramping and I was having like diarrhea and all that stuff, but I didn't really think anything of it because I've been having that for weeks. So it would come and go and I didn't really think a whole lot of it. And so I had the cramping, I had the diarrhea, and I honestly thought it was just the food that I ate that night didn't agree with me. So I paid it no mind. And then in the morning it faded off to where I barely even felt anything. I think if I was moving around I probably wouldn't have noticed it, but because I was like laying down I could feel it a little bit, but it wasn't a whole lot going on. So that day, it slowly started to build back up again, and I was feeling cramping. Now, again, this cramping felt like period cramps, and it was as if I had my period. And I really didn't think anything of that either because I had had that as well for weeks. And so I said, this may or may not go anywhere, so I'm just going to chill out. And then hubby happened to come upstairs. And I was laying down watching TV. This is the evening, getting ready to put my daughter to bed. I think we had already put her to bed, actually. I think it was like 9 o'clock, so she was in the bed. And I was laying down watching TV, and all of a sudden, it went from cramping to like really intense pain. And it was low down, like where you would feel period cramping. So I wasn't 100% sure this was anything, because with my daughter, when I had contractions, they were like from the top of my belly all the way down. Like you can see the muscles contracting, and the pain started from up top. So this whole labor, I only experienced pain down below in my lower pelvis. So I wasn't even sure that that was like full contractions because that was a new experience for me. I had pain in a different place this time. So like I said, my husband came upstairs and I felt this really bad cramping, and I was like, ow, that hurt a lot. And he was like, are you okay? And I was like, I think so. I got a really bad one, but it's just one. So I don't know. We'll see how far apart they are. I guess I'll start timing them. Well, it was too late by then. That one contraction was the beginning of everything. Like it was go time. They kept coming like 2 minutes apart at that point. And I said, I got up and I got in the shower to get ready to go to the hospital and to kind of ease the pain. So I said to him, call my aunt. They need to come here because she's already in the bed, and I'm going to call the doctor. And so I guess he thought just like I did, like this isn't really, it's not going to really happen right now. I mean, I kind of knew at that point, like, no, this is happening now. But he was like, you got time. So he's telling my aunt, like, oh, take your time, come over here. You don't have to rush, but she may be going into labor tonight, but, take your time. So I didn't know he said that. So I'm talking to the doctor now while he's on the phone, and the doctor is being as sweet as can be, the nurse. And she's like, how are your contractions? I said, they're about a minute or two apart. And at this point, I'm talking to her, and I can't even talk through them. Like, it literally, only 5 minutes had passed, and I couldn't even talk through them. And so I'm telling her, trying to tell her that this is only like 2 minutes apart. And she's like, well, how far dilated are you? I'm like, well, last week when I got checked, I was 4 centimeters. And she said, oh. She said, well, sweetheart, I don't know what you're doing right now, but you need to go to the hospital. And I was like, what? And she's like, no, honey, you need to go right now. Put everything down and go to the hospital. I was like, are you kidding me? She's like, yes, get there now. And so then I got out of the shower, and then she called back like 10 minutes later, and she's like, are you on your way? And I was like, I'm trying. And she's like, honey, I need to impress on you. You need to get there now. And I was like, okay, this is like emergency. She's trying not to panic me, but like, she's like, you need to go now. So I was like, okay. So I told hubby, tell them we'll meet them at the hospital. To meet us at the hospital, we have to go now. And he's like, really? And I'm like, listen, the doctor said go now. And they called back to make sure that we left. And I was like, and I can't even talk through these contractions. Like, this kid is gonna fall out. And so he keeps telling me, like, are you sure? Are you sure? So finally I just snapped. Like, I mean, through time, like, not through that same conversation, but as we're getting ready, he's like, are you sure? And I'm like, I just started banging on whatever was nearby, and I was like, we have to go right now. Like, and he was like, okay. He said, okay, we're gonna go. So I called my aunt. They got to the hospital before we did. And thank goodness they were waiting for me with the wheelchair, and they wheeled me through emergency. And that night everyone was in the emergency room, and they all had these masks on, and I was like, oh my god, they're wheeling me through like sick bay right now. Like, this is terrible. And everyone was just watching me, eyes like looking at me, and I'm crying at this point because the pain was just so bad. And I think the emotion of it all just like all of a sudden came out, because I mean, I had no idea I was gonna cry. I didn't feel it building up. All of a sudden, just tears. And so they say that that's a warning signal that your body is going through, like when you just get super emotional too. So the tears came. So I'm in triage, and they're like trying to check me, and they're trying to get me ready, and I'm squirming so much because the pain is just so hard. And they're trying to give me the IV. Sorry, they're trying to give me an IV. They're trying to, I'm trying to get undressed, and I'm like, these contractions are back to back, and like, I just cannot do it. Like, I can't even get a minute to get dressed. And so finally they said, okay, we're just going to take you and put you in a room, because clearly this is happening. So we got to the hospital at like 10:30. By 11, I want to say, I was in my labor and delivery room. So I'm in there, and I'm like, yo, I need the drugs. Like, I don't know what happened. I expected a slow build up to where I can manage the pain, and it was not. It was just like, tolerable cramping to what the hell just happened. Like, it went from maybe a 3 or 4, maybe a 3 in pain, to like an 8. Like, it just jumped to an 8. And so I was like, oh my God, like, you guys got to give me something now. And the reason why, and the nurse said, I think you can make it. I think you can do it without the epidural. But the reason why I didn't push is because my water hadn't even broke yet. When your water breaks, if for you who haven't had given birth yet, when your water breaks, that's when the real pain kicks in. My water didn't even break yet, and I was like barely able to manage the pain that just smacked me in the face. So I was like, nope, we're gonna give me the drugs now. So they gave me this medicine they put in my IV, because I couldn't get the epidural right away. They had to give me IV first. And I was like, well, what are we waiting for? Just jam the thing in, because I can't take this. And they gave me this I forget what the medicine is called, but it was just to take the edge off. And that medicine was phenomenal. Honestly, if I could have just done that, I would have been fine, because it took the edge off, and I was like, oh, I can do this. Like, I can manage this pain. But she said, we cannot give you this medicine back to back because it affects the baby. So she was like, we can give it to you like twice, and that's it. And again, this was before my water even broke. And I was like, well, how long does it last? Is it going to carry me over? Because if it's not, then epidural. So she was like, it may not, make it all the way through. And I said, forget it, epidural. But honestly, if I could have just taken that just took the edge off, that would have been enough. It literally just took the bite, like the unbearable, like crazy pain off, so that you can say, okay, I can do this, and push through it. And that's all I really needed. But they weren't going to give me enough of that. So epidural it was. And then so yeah, they checked me when I was in triage, and I was only 5 centimeters too. That was the other thing. All that pain, and I was only 5 centimeters. So then by the time I got the IV and they gave me that medicine to take the edge off, and they checked me again, I was 8 centimeters. I got the epidural, which they let him stay for. In New York, they didn't let him stay for that. So I was pleasantly surprised that they let him do that. And so he stayed for the epidural. I got the medicine. I was good. My heart rate dropped, and I told my nurse that, and she was phenomenal. I said, listen, when I had my daughter, I had the epidural, and my heart rate dropped, and the baby's heart rate dropped, and I blacked out. And so I was like, it's probably going to happen again, just so you know. And she was like, okay. So she went and got the medicine. She had it ready. And what she did was, when it started dropping, I told her, listen, I'm getting that feeling again, like I'm underwater. And she was like, okay, turn on your left side. She kept me actively involved in the whole process so that I didn't black out, and that things got better faster. She kept saying, turn to your left, okay, turn to your right. And she kept trying to get my pressure back up. And then finally she said, I'm going to give you the medicine. And because my husband was there, she was like, she couldn't reach something, a button or something. She was like, press that button. Now he used to be an EMT, so she was like, press the button back there for me, I can't reach it. And he pressed it, and then all the nurses came in and they did what they had to do. But it was a much better experience than what I had before, because that was just something new, and I felt funny, and then I was gone. And so, and the baby's pressure went down, and that was dangerous. But one thing, when my hubby looked at the numbers, he was like, oh my God, like my blood pressure dropped so low, I guess. He was like, oh my God. And he looked at me, he said, Paris, are you awake? I looked at him like, yes, I'm awake. I'm talking to you. I'm fine. And he was like, that screen doesn't say you're fine. But yeah, so that to me was the funniest part of the night. Like, are you awake? So after that, and at that point, I had sent hubby home because I forgot my wallet. And we literally live about 5 minutes up from the hospital. It's literally a straight drive up the road and then a left turn. Like, that's it. So I was like, okay, just run home and get it, don't worry about it. And then when he left, they checked me and they said, you're 8 centimeters. I called him like, babe, I'm 8 centimeters. You better hurry back. And he was like, really? What the heck happened? I'm like, this labor is going way too fast. Like, you better hurry back, because I feel like by the time you get back here, I'm going to be pushing. And he was like, all right, I'm going to hurry up. So he grabbed the wallet, raced back, and sure enough, when he walked in, they were like, you're 10 centimeters. It's time to push. And that all happened like within another 10 minutes. So I wanted to see, so they brought a mirror, and so I started to push. She said, all right, go ahead and give me a push and let's see how this goes. And so I pushed, and I looked in the mirror and I saw his head, and for some reason, looking at him coming out, I could not push. I didn't feel anything because I had the epidural, but it was like distracting. I couldn't focus on how you're supposed to push. This is a little sidebar. When you have your first child and they're telling you to push, the way you're supposed to push to get that baby out is to push like you're trying to make a poop. And I know it sounds disgusting because some people actually do poop, and that's just what it is. You can't avoid it. It's just what your body does. Like, don't even waste time being embarrassed about it. It's just what it is. But that's how you push your baby out, and that's how you get it out quickly. If you're sitting there trying to be cute and trying not to make a poop, you'll be pushing forever, okay? Like, just push down like you're taking a dump. I hate to say it like that, but listen, we've been taking dumps our whole lives in preparation to push out babies, okay? This is what it is. Like, just push as hard as you can, like you want to make a poop, and that baby will come out, okay? And you won't be pushing as long as you could be, unless you have some other type of medical, issue going on during your pregnancy that could be stopping your baby from coming out. But other than that, push like you need to make a poop. And that's exactly what I did. You push down. I don't know how you can think of that to make sense, but like, if you think of it in your head, don't push like you're trying to push it out of your vagina. Push like you're trying to push that baby out of your butt, okay? Because that's what's going to get that baby out. And so I pushed like that one push, and they were like, I had to close my eyes because I couldn't look in the mirror anymore. I had to focus. So I closed my eyes and I pushed real hard, and they were like, oh, the head is out. And I opened my eyes and I saw his head out, and I was like, oh my God. And they were like, but don't stop pushing, keep pushing. And so I pushed again a second time. I closed my eyes and pushed a second time, and he was out. 2 pushes, y'all. 2 pushes. I'm telling you, that's how you push. You push like you need to make a poop as hard as you can, and that kid will come out much faster. And so 2 pushes it took to get him out, and he was on my belly, and I was like in shock because I did not expect him to come out that fast. And so that was it, y'all. 4 hours it took to get from the house to pushing him out. 4 hours. I kid you not, I was prepared to film this whole journey, and it just did not go that way. I am so sorry. I know you guys probably wanted to see more. I wanted to give you more, but it happened too fast, and I just could not do it. And even in the hospital after he was born, I planned on filming again, but he was just like, let's just talk about that. I have to do a separate postpartum video to tell you guys what happened from the hospital to home to now. But and right now I'm filming this at 2.5 weeks postpartum. So when I pushed him out, I'm gonna find the picture and try to insert that in there. But I look like I was about 6 months pregnant after. Right now I am pretty much back to normal. I only gained like 9 pounds from this pregnancy, and so far I've lost 25 pounds. So a lot of that is water weight, including the baby weight. He was 7 pounds 2 ounces. And then breastfeeding. Breastfeeding burns a lot of calories, and I really feel like that's what did it. I'm wearing the belly band now. I didn't start out wearing that, but now I have one, and I'm wearing that. It's falling apart, so don't get the Walmart one because the Walmart one is falling apart, but I'm still using it because it still binds, but some of the stitching is coming out. So just a heads up on that. But yeah, so I'm doing pretty good so far. I feel good. I snapped back really fast. I'm just touching lightly on the postpartum. I'm going to do another video on that. But as far as like pain and just like the normal tiredness you feel after giving birth, all of that, maybe I felt for like a week. And then week 2, I was back to normal, trying to tackle things that I should not have been trying to tackle way too soon. So we'll talk about that in the next video. But I feel great. Baby's doing great. Hopefully I'll be able to show him to you guys in the next video. Hopefully he'll be a little more patient, and he can sit and, do this video with me. But I'll insert some pictures so you guys can see what he looks like now, compared to when he was first born. And that's pretty much it for the labor and delivery story. I told you guys it was short and sweet. I wish I had more. I had planned to have more, and it sucks that I couldn't give you guys more of the visual, not of the actual birth, but everything leading up to the birth. I wish I could have given you guys more, but things happen the way they do for a reason, and I'm glad he's healthy. I'm glad I'm healthy. I'm glad that labor was nice and quick, because my daughter was 24 hours, y'all. So I went from a 24-hour birth to a 4-hour birth, and that's great. And he was born exactly at 2:22 a.m. Any of you who know me, 22 is like my lucky number. My birthday's on September 22nd. Just important things have happened to me on the 22nd of any, month. 22, I see that number all the time. It's just been a blessing to me. I feel like that number in my life just means, God is smiling on me, blessing me whenever I see that number. And like I said, I could not have made this up. When they said, I asked them, I said, what time was he born? They said 2:22. I just looked at hubby like, are you kidding me? And he was like, wow, because he knows how important that number has been for me. So we were just in shock that he was born at 2:22. So like I said, it was a blessing, and I can't wait to talk to you guys about the postpartum and show him to you guys in the next video. So thank you guys for watching, and if you have any questions, if I missed anything, or if you want to just ask me anything about my labor and delivery, let me know in the comments and I will answer them in the next postpartum video. But I'm going to show you guys my belly. I'm not going to show you the actual skin of my belly. It is a flabby, wrinkly mess. But I'll show you guys what it looks like now, and then I'll insert a picture of what it looked like I think the next day after I pushed him out, so you can see the difference in, I think it's been 2.5 weeks now. So I'm going to show you guys that now. So this is my belly now. I have the band on, but it's really not holding in much right now. I have it on loose because I'm just trying to take my time with it and not like suffocate myself. But this is my postpartum belly right now. So it's a little bit of pooch right there, but not a whole lot. And like I said, I will show you guys the video or the clip of what I look like the day after I gave birth. So thanks again for watching. Remember to like, click the bell notification so you know when the next videos come, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.